Mobile Rams Caden Francis passed away suddenly this week. Please join us in our prayers for the family of Caden Francis, the Mobile Ram athletic community, as well as the entire Mobile campus community. Today's show is dedicated in the memory of Caden Francis. A lot of conference activity across the nation. A lot of top 25 teams in action. It was a busy Wednesday. So let's take a look at everything that happened last night. Number 3, Indiana Wesleyan. Of course, they went up to Huntington. They lost that game 97-88. You saw it. It was in all the papers. Indiana Wesleyan now, they go to 6-1. But let's take a look at it from the Huntington side. The Foresters really put together a great game. They shot the heck out of the ball. I think they shot 54% from 3, 56% from the field. They only turned the ball over 4 times. You're going to win a lot of games if you shoot 56% from 3 and only turn it over 4 times. Drew Goodline, boy, he really struggled outside the arc. He was only 6 for 7, 24 points. Magnificent game. Jackson Paul, 18 points. Lane Sparks, he had 19 points. So up next for Huntington, they're going to host Bethel on Saturday. We're going to go backwards here just a little. Indiana Wesleyan is going to host Grace on Saturday. So those are going to be a couple of great games on Saturday. As I said, Huntington is now 8-0 and Indiana Wesleyan is 6-1. That was probably the big game of the night. Grace College, big win over Marion. You know, Marion's been playing really well. Grace was at home and they beat Marion 98-62. Ian Scott, double-double, 14 and 11. Ian Roush, he was way off his, I always talk about how steady Eddie he is. He's usually 20 and 5. Last night he was only 20 and 4. He's going to have to check that. He's got to figure out why he's down in his rebounding. They're going to travel, as I said, to Indiana Wesleyan on Saturday. Don't look now. They're all the way up to 5-2. Grace is recovering. You knew Scott Moore wouldn't stay down very long. Rest of the league, Spring Arbor beat Mount Vernon Nazarene. St. Francis beat Taylor. And Bethel in, beating of Goshen. But in that game, Trent Edwards, he had a triple-double, not something you see every day. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. I might have the assists and rebounds. Anyway, a triple-double. Congratulations to Trent Edwards. Great guy. And that's a career accomplishment. Nobody can ever take that away from you. In the Crossroads on Saturday, Spring Arbor is going to go to Marion. Grace is going to go to Indiana Wesleyan. Bethel to Huntington. Mount Vernon to Taylor, and St. Francis to Goshen. Here's the standings. Of course, they don't mean much at this point, but we'll continue to update those each time the conferences play. Montana Tech, they had a non-con game out at UC Merced. Oddest game. It was so strange. Montana Tech won it. It was a barn burner, 42-30. This is not a halftime score. 42-30. Montana Tech goes to 7-0. I put some numbers down here just for me to refer to. I know you can't read them, but Montana Tech, they shot 28% from the field, 22% from 3. Merced shot 25% from the field, 11% from 3. And I thought, well, maybe it was physical, maybe a lot of fouls. In the entire game, there was only 22 fouls. I was at a game last week where there was 21 fouls halfway through the second half. There was in the half, in 10 minutes. This game had 22 fouls for the entire game. So I'm not sure why the shooting was so far down. Because with 22 fouls, it couldn't have been that physical. If anybody else watch it, put a comment under this show and, why was the scoring so low? But it doesn't matter. Montana Tech gets the win. That's all they care about. They're 7-0, and they're going to be at Pacific Union on Friday. Northwestern, these Van Kalsbeek boys are terrorizing the prairie. There is no other way to put it. So Northwestern goes into the Corn Palace. They beat them pretty handily, 87-68. That is no small feat. You go into Mitchell and get a win. I don't care what the records are. That is a big deal. But look at what the game after game after game. Look at what Alex Van Kalsbeek did last night. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. You got to remember, this guy's a big guy. And he's gets it underneath, and he's able to dish out 7 assists, 26, 10, and 7. And Jesse Van Kalsbeek, 24 and 8. If these two keep producing like this, they are going to cause major havoc in the G-Pack. So they're 6-0 now, and they host Midland on Saturday. Taking a look at the rest of the G-Pack, Mount Marty beat Midland. Dort beat Waldorf. Briarcliff, I want to talk about this game. Briarcliff beat Morningside. Okay, so Morningside's been struggling. Briarcliff's been struggling. There's no secret about that. Morningside has been playing really good basketball. And it's typical G-Pack. So Briarcliff goes over, I don't know how, it's 20 feet away. You can't even warm your car up driving from one to the other. They go over to Briarcliff. It was a tight game all the way through, and it got tied up. And then with 1 second to go, Matthew Stillwell from Briarcliff hits a 3 to win the game at Briarcliff. And it's just the way it goes. I love G-Pack basketball. It's just the way I'm sure Trent Miller is not very happy about it this morning, but it was a incredible basketball game. So coming up in the G-Pack on Saturday, Dakota Wesleyan in a non-con is going to play Valley State. But Doane has to go to Morningside. Hastings is going to be over at Briarcliff. Concordia goes to Dort, the toughest place to play in the country. Mount Marty goes to Waldorf, and Midland has to go face Northwestern. So here's the standings. They don't mean too much at this time, but I'll continue to put those up. Florida Memorial, they dropped their second game in a row tonight. Tonight, Warner beat them 99-95. Florida College goes to 5-2. I went through the stats on this over and over and over. And I thought, because statistically, Florida Memorial they outshot them, they out-rebounded them, and finally, it's the free throws. Warner was 25 for 29 at the line, and Florida Memorial was 12 for 29. So the 17 points off the table in the free throw line. That's what cost them this game. It was a costly game for them because that's now the second one in a row. So Florida Memorial now, they'll travel to New College of Florida on Saturday. And as I said, they're 5-2. Take a look at the rest of the Sun. St. Thomas just whooped on Weber International, 67-34. Southeastern fell to Coastal Georgia, and Ave Maria beat New College. So coming up this Saturday, Coastal Georgia is going to play Ave Maria. That should be a good game. Warner to Kaiser, again, another good. Southeastern at St. Thomas. Florida Memorial, New College, they have it down twice. I don't think they're going to play a doubleheader. Again, they have the standings there, but they don't mean a whole lot right now. Oklahoma Wesleyan tonight. Friends is good. I was surprised Oklahoma Wesleyan beat them as easily as they did. They beat them 82-58. Oklahoma Wesleyan goes to 5-2. Derek Talton Jr., 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Nick Bean, 14 points, 5 rebounds. They go to 5-2, and they're going to play Kansas Wesleyan Saturday. They're going to be at Kansas Wesleyan on Saturday. In the rest of the Kansas Conference, Bethel beat Southwestern. Avila beat Evangel. St. Mary beat York. Sterling, we'll talk about them in a moment, beat Bethany. Kansas Wesleyan beat McPherson, and Ottawa beat Tabor. I want to show you something in the standings. You know, let's go through who's going to play. Saturday, Sterling's at Avila. Evangel at Tabor. Oklahoma Wesleyan is at Kansas Wesleyan. That should be a good game. Bethel at Bethany, Ottawa at McPherson, and St. Mary at Southwestern. You know how I always talk about, the conference is where things really shape out. You know, teams that you're not even thinking about, when they start rising to the top in the conference, then people start noticing them. And Ottawa University is not a big surprise to be at the top. That's a really quality program, has been for a while. Sterling's really been struggling. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. But look at this. They're 7-1, and Ottawa's 6-1. So I just wanted to point that out. That's a team really nobody's talking about unless you're probably right there in the conference. But Sterling and Ottawa are having very good years. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as the conference gets going. Baker, the number 19 team in the country, they hosted Park. They beat them 84-69. They go to 6-1. Ty Henry, 16 points, 2 rebounds, and Ahmed Goob, 15 points, 10 rebounds. There's, as I say, 6-1, and they're going to play Culver Stockton on Saturday. Rest of the Hart Conference, William Penn beat Missouri Valley. Benedictine beat Central Methodist in overtime. Graceland beat Culver Stockton. And Peru State beat Mid-American Nazarene. I want to show you on the standings here, too. Well, let's go through who's playing Saturday. Clark's at Benedictine. Mid-American Nazarene's going to play Mount Mercy. William Penn at Park. Baker at Culver Stockton, as we said. Central Methodist at Grandview. And Peru State at Missouri Valley. So when we look at the standings, they've only played 2-3 games each in the conference. But look, Graceland and Peru State, it's pretty much looks like it's going to be a 4-team race just looking at the overall standings. Graceland is 7-0 overall. Peru State is 7-0. Baker 6-1, and William Penn is 6-1. Now they've been down for a couple of years. You know, you start forgetting about these teams when they've been down a couple of years, but it really starts to drop off after those 4 teams. Remember, this conference last season was a 4-team race as well. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on it. This is why I love conference play, because everything starts to shake out. Indiana Tech tonight, they got back in the W column. They needed the win. They beat Lawrence Tech. They're in Fort Wayne. Lawrence Tech's a good program. It's a good win, 80-66. Javo Lewis, 18 points, 14 rebounds. That he was pulling down some boards, man. And Dallas Roberts, 16 points, 5 rebounds. So they go to 2-3, and they're going to be at Cleary Saturday. So taking a look at the rest of the Wolverine Hoosier, Michigan Dearborn won over Concordia. Cornerstone and Rochester. Cornerstone won that game. That was a big game. Defiance beat Northwest UNOH. Lords beat Madonna. Madonna's just really struggling. Aquinas beat Siena Heights, and we talked about Lawrence Tech. Northwestern Ohio is going to play Aquinas on Friday, and then on Saturday, Concordia is at Lawrence Tech. Cornerstone's at Madonna. Indiana Tech is at Cleary. Siena Heights is at Michigan Dearborn, and Lords is at Defiance. And here's the standings, which right now don't mean much. In the Appalachian tonight, Bluefield beat Montreat. Union beat St. Andrews. Milligan back in the W column. Milligan's got a good team. We've got to keep an eye on them. Columbia International beat Truett McDonald. Reinhardt beat Pikeville. That is a good bit. That's a good win for Reinhardt. And Johnson looks really good. Final in overtime, they beat Tennessee Wesleyan. So in the Appalachian, we got CIU is going to go to Kentucky Christian Saturday. Pikeville at St. Andrews. Montreat at Tennessee Wesleyan. Milligan at Reinhardt. Ooh, that's a good game. Bryan at Columbia, and Union at Johnson, and that's another good game too. Again, here's the standings. They'll start shaping up in the next couple of weeks for the conference. And in the Chicagoland, IU South Bend beat Columbus. Holy Cross beat Viterbo. St. Francis beat St. Ambrose. St. Xavier beat Olivet Nazarene. I'll tell you all the Chicagoland Conference teams, if you can beat Olivet Nazarene now, boy, you should take your punches, because I guarantee you that Coach Berkey's going to figure it out before the end of the season, and he's going to start punching back. They're not going to be this bad all season. Governor State beat Trinity, and Judson beat Calumet. So Saturday, Judson's going to play. This is a non-conference. St. Mary of the Woods, Olivet Nazarenes at Kokomo. All these are non-conference, and St. Ambrose is going to play an exhibition game. Well, that's what we have for you tonight. I know I kind of rushed through it, but man, it's so exciting once the conferences get going. A lot of fun games tonight. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Are you making your plans to go to a NAIA game? I hope so. So this weekend, I'm going to be Saturday, 2 really good games. Corbin, I think Corbin is playing. Well, anyway, it's Corbin and Simpson, Hope and Bushnell, and I can't remember which ones the other one's playing, but that's the Dave Lip Classic down in Eugene, and we're going to cover that all day on Saturday. It should be fun. Look for that. And other than that, I'll be back tomorrow, and that's it. That's all I got. This is Billy D. Go to an NAIA game. Great deal. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.